decriminalize all drugs.
Weed. Oof. So if you are listening to this, before we get any further into the episode, into your listening experience, before anze kukuwa na ideas which I am sure you are having based on what Irauka amesema, this is a minisode, this is a bonus episode that tunakupatia. Uenjoy. Usikie episodes back to back. So itamanisha tumewapatia episodes ka 5 zikifuatana.
Mazejo. Si wana sosi.
Ai. 5 tena.
5 tena.
Tafadhali, kama unaumia na we ni Mkenya, si ulipiga kura, si uliambiwa 5 tena, ukaambiwa it's a hustler government, boda mama mboga. Alitumia hizo catchphrases.
Yes, ndio.
Alizi instill kwa discussions and speeches here and there. But yes, take us through this. Take it away.
All drugs should be decriminalized.
Explain yourself.
Namanisha, for example, like, so we all know this quote-unquote illegal drugs.
Not quote-unquote.
Yeah?
So they are illegal drugs.
Yeah, quote-unquote. The reason nasema quote-unquote ni, like, where are they illegal? Unajua? Like, where are they illegal? Unajua? Like, I genuinely believe, cause unless unasema unachukua drug kwenda kudrag watu, which people do, like hiyo ya mamchele na nini, like easy drugs, people that take drugs recreationally ama just for cause kuna wale alianza recreationally and then ikafika point wakakuwa dependent on them. Like drug addiction is a scourge. Like and sort of, it's not like people don't get addicted to these things. People get addicted. Unapata like a huge number of addicts are afraid to ask for help because first of all the drugs are criminal, they're illegal. So like nile ya kwanza inaleta ngori, and then unapata the reason mtu seme amekuwa addicted ama dependent on like a drug ni like coping mechanism. Like unajaribu like drugs, people take drugs to try and supplement something in their life, you know, like kind recreationally ni to supplement fun, like ndo kwe have more fun according to them. Yes, kama ni easy escapist drugs zile, you don't want to think about your life, you don't want to be in your head, you know, like ama you feel constantly you're just being weighed down by the world, but unaona if I take cocaine inanichangamsha sana hata I don't even think about my stresses, you know.
Is that you?
I can't even afford cocaine, bro. Like I use like $10 for like a snail when you're like 10 kilometers away. So like imagine like
I'll push weight.
I must just say to push weight. I'm not whipping that cocoa.
Are you in love with it though?
Like nahisi shida si cause ikidecriminaliziwa, like kwanza watu wataona like the people wale wana depend on drugs na nini, first of all itakuwa easier to help them out, itakuwa easier pia unaona kama hizi the like hizi drugs zile zikuwa injected, if zimekuwa decriminalized, like people who use them, who are dependent on them, because pia by the time yakuwa decriminalized kuna toko dependent on these things, like wana get hata kama unazitumia in a safe way, you know, like as much as you're doing drugs, you don't need to be unsafe while doing drugs. I know it sounds insane, but like
You need to abuse them safely.
but you're not abusing them, cheki. And then the other term we need to nini is abusing drugs. Like
No,
obviously,
ulikuwa unaongelea addicts.
yeah.
Sio ni drug abuse.
Hapana. They're not abusing it. Not according to me. According to me, mi nacheki like juu ukiona ukikaa chini unge na mse ule like ameingia into addiction na anang'ang'ana kutoka. First of all, unapata vile aliingia, more often than not hakuingia na intention ya kukuwa addicted. You know, it's either alionja ama like alikuwa mahali akaambiwa hey, try this you know, like it's very rare. I feel it's very rarely where people who are addicted to drugs go like, this is heroin, I want to start taking heroin every day, like this heroin will see me, you know. Like, haikuangi hivyo, inakuanga a slow build, and then inafika mahali unajipata uko in a place where hauwezi jimanage, you can't manage the hole you've dug yourself in, and you can't dig yourself out. So and then with easy addictions, cause with the hard drugs ni zile like you even if you were to quit, you can't just quit cold turkey, because your body will react, will have negative reactions to quitting cold turkey. Na feel vitu hizo zinaweza saidia sana. And then pia like why also hiyo kufanya ziache kuwa illegal, like mbona why are people so against people experimenting with drugs and like some personal experimentation, like hiyo ya explore what happen. Hata mtu kuharibikia like bado mbona iko illegal, unaniget? Mbona iko illegal? Sinichesio mse. And I know this argument is not sound and it has no feet to stand on.
Ina float
too. But then again,
the argument iko on shrooms.
Kabisa. Ndio nilikuwa kusema this argument has taken some substances. Clearly. But like unani get. Plus na feel hiyo nini, the fact that drugs are illegal does more harm than good.
Ningesema ningetuita the three wise men, and the reason I would do so ni ningependa sana kusikia our elder hapa, sentiments za our elder on the sentiments that this lost youth Tunado is choosing to bring on this podcast. This is what amefanya urecord tena for. Ningependa sana kusikia sentiments zako on what Irauka anasema. Ameongelea decriminalization of drugs, drug abuse, drug misuse, which is something else that people talk about as far as drugs. Ameongelea personal experimentation with the drugs.
Ati personal.
Si umesema ya watu wa experiment.
Nilikuwa nasema yangu personal. Nikashanga wewe ni mwongea sana. And I am yet to experiment. If you know a lab.
Personal experimentation. And that drugs being illegal do more harm than good. Ningependa sana kusikia maoni yako.
Okay. Kwanza hapo kwa drug abuse amesema haifai kuitwa drug abuse. Because sometimes it's the drugs that abuse you eventually. So, you know, maybe you're the one being abused. So
I have a question for you. Kwa hiyo ya drug abuse, if I know Piriton ya kusaidia like ikwa na headache sama kitu hiyo, I don't know, but like Piriton pia ukikula ukichukua you also get sleepy, si ndio? Sasa if I take it with the intent ya kwenda kulala lakini sina sina the ailment that patient inafaa kusaidia kutreat, am I abusing that drug? But the reason naichukua najua itanisaidia nilale, na nikichoka tena nilale.
Yeah, hiyo ni misuse.
Hiyo inafalling under misuse.
But how is it misuse if it has done it, I have used it with the intention and it has done what I wanted it to do?
Na ndio utasema hivyo, but itonga misuse because
it's not what it is intended by the nini.
Yeah.
But like isn't
Vile
the
hiyo ni
end
one of
user
the
end
effects.
user guys.
Bado
I am the end user.
kuna jina use hapa kwa misuse,
determine.
you know.
Yeah, use.
Yeah, they still use in that misuse.
kwa hiyo misuse
You know,
kuna use.
something good has come out of that. There have also, you know, sometimes people wanasema people in war situations, they'd rather be high or take something so that they can cope with the, maybe intense war situation. Decriminalizing, my question would be, who stands to gain from decriminalizing a certain drug or certain drugs? Because we also know that some of them are illegal, but they are still sold, and some people want to benefit out of
Like what?
the trade.
Like which drug?
The moment
iko okay naongelea hapa. Iko okay naongelea.
Yeah.
Hadi unajua bei yake.
Yeah. But again, you realize that up to the level where it was made illegal, I also think the societies, the communities, the governments and the systems looked at this situation wholesomely. I don't think they just woke up and decided this, because I've seen now that there are governments which are, we call them secular government, and then there are religious states like the Islamic countries.
Secular states.
It seems to be uniform, like in the secular states and some of the religious states. When it comes to certain drugs, the guideline is uniform. Not to mean that some people, some people say when they used a certain drug, they had an epiphany and a certain heightened experience, which is typical of drugs. But when you look at the benefits of decriminalizing it versus the harmful effects of it, we'll still end up maintaining that status of this is illegal.
It.
Absolutely.
I don't believe it.
Because you saw what happens. Access.
Argument yako ukisema vile ukiangalia hawa ukiangalia hata secular states na religious states wamenini like kwani are they not flawed?
They are flawed.
Like
people still
it's
use.
It's a flawed system that we have to criminalize hizi vitu like if hawa si wamesema ati ikitu ni mbaya basi hata sisi ikitu ni mbaya na ni mbaya.
No.
Like it's
I think
if you look,
I think alikuwa na make an observation that kuna particular drugs that are illegal across different states.
Yeah.
How can I say it's either
and across states that do not necessarily agree on everything, you'll find many other areas of disagreement, and that's why I compared maybe with like Islamic states, because they are most conservative of the countries that we know. But in matters drugs, you find that there's some sort of uniform agreement that certain drugs are illegal. Your argument for decriminalizing these drugs, I don't know if you have really defended it properly, because I feel maybe it's personal. If it's personal, I get it. If it's personal, I get it.
yake ina footing.
Exactly. Like if it's personal, I get it. You want to use this stuff
legally.
I'd rather you use it while it is still illegal, okay?
The reason nasema hivyo ni kwa sababu na feel like unaona it's like by the time mtu anachukua a drug nika kusema like unaona kama milk the milk the way it's vile iko the human body haija tengenezwa kuhandle milk past a certain age. Like ndio maana most people huko na nini itwaje lactose intolerance. But hiyo inamaanisha pia there's a number there's a like kwa say kwa population wale wako na gene ile wanaweza handle nini milk, so hata wanaweza kunywa like more milk in their old age as compared to hao wengine wale, because like a big population is lactose intolerant. Yeah, so nachiki vile milk is lactose intolerant, inafanya lactose intolerance in msaki kunywa, watu waseme like nini kukuwe na country seme now it has been nini, a law has been passed, no adult is supposed to drink milk nini, like ukishafika maybe semeka 16 haufai kunywa maziwa, na tukikupata kama unakunywa maziwa tusikie ulikunywa maziwa. Una get like na me, even though me na feel with regards to drugs juu like all this like mtu hata akifanya akienda achukizi madawa za kulevya, more often than not anajua ni madawa za kulevya, you know. My problem comes in where the state inakuja inasema wewe you cannot put this in your body, it is illegal for you to put this in your body, and if you do that hiyo ni makosa. Una get?
Yeah.
That's my whole argument by the way.
The state owns you.
The state owns us all. What do you mean?
Exactly. So it can tell you stuff.
No, but like that's the problem.
Okay. But if not the state, the community owns you. The society owns you.
Kuna equivalence ya milk and illegal drugs though?
Yeah?
Kuna equivalence.
It's far-fetched because milk, the effect of milk is... You can't even... It's...
Ushaikuwa na lactose, meet msako na lactose intolerance?
Yes.
Like achana na ile ni mild. Ule
stomach upset.
Ule achana na hiyo ule akikula keki ile imetengenezwa na maziwa. Sote amekunywa maziwa, amekula keki like amekula tu hivi kidogo. Anakuwa na flatulence and then anaanza kuhara.
I'm yet to meet that.
Like kuna watu like lactose intolerance yao ni mbaya na bado they still take milk. Ama they take dairy products. And it's not that hawajui itawaharibikia. You know?
So what you're saying is the milk makes their body function abnormally, which drugs also make your body function abnormally.
Yeah.
Then maybe maybe ordinarily we are all drug intolerant.
Sasa unaona you've taken the milk you've taken the lactose intolerance too much. Lactose intolerance kuonyesha why drugs should not be legal.
I'm just trying to argue from from a level floating with the argument.
The impact is incomparable.
Of course it's incomparable because drugs ni like nimetumia tu hiyo kama the closest ile the one thing that everyone has access to.
The chemical properties are different.
Legal. You're talking about the law. Man, there's so little.
Why are they illegal?
There's so little you can do about them.
Why is it illegal to shoot up heroin? Why is it illegal to snort
to
cocaine?
Sniff, to snort, to
why? As in
because you'll become an addict and then you can't help the government pay. You can't help by paying taxes. You get
can't participate.
Yeah, you can't participate in building the nation.
Lakini unajua pia unaona mimi naona ngasa zingine like we are too concerned with policing other people.
No, of course.
We are too concerned.
Yeah. Of course.
That makes community.
Of course.
Too concerned.
Of course.
But why not?
I think
why not?
There's nobody who exists
as
in isolation.
As far as communities, groups, societies exist, it's inevitable that people will want to police others at a point in time.
That's very sad.
No, it's really simple. Let me use the worst examples usually help. If you live around the neighborhood and you hear there's a pedophile in the neighborhood, you have probably a daughter in such a situation. Wouldn't you be concerned?
I would. Now, let us just use that same example. Now use it with there's a heroin addict in the neighborhood. Kazi yake ni anena anashoot up heroin and then ako in the neighborhood.
And you have a daughter or a son, you should be concerned.
Why should I be concerned with kile anafanya? Na first of all nikisema anashoot up heroin simanishi anaenda kwa barabara anaifanya hivyo, because no one does that, si ndio? Like easy acts they are done in secret.
In secret.
Yeah, like hata tujue the person who lives in block in house A is a heroin addict, lakini analipa rent, anafanya hizo vitu zote other than affecting them immediately na kuinteract na watoto akipita na nini. Hawezi compare hiyo na kusema hiyo a pedophile.
Both are illegal. But I would also compare.
Wow.
You know,
wow.
Yeah, I'm making very
Pablo.
basic arguments. I know that's very, that's like primary. But let me also say this: in a society and in a community, I have to talk of community because we exist in communities and societies, and that's why we're even able to speak about these things. Otherwise, you just go use whatever drugs you want to use, and life goes on, and someone else uses theirs, and life goes on. But because we live in a community, the concern about things and issues is not from an individual level. It's usually about the community,
societal,
and the community is self-preserving in so many ways.
Yes.
It has to ensure that it lasts and it thrives, and out of that there will come up illegal things and issues of things that cannot be done in this community. And you can even see that in traditional African communities. There are things that maybe right now can people can do, but they were not being done. But it was the way of that society to preserve itself. And matters to do with drugs, they really fall within that, because in as much as you can use the drugs in whatever way you wish, the community around it will determine if this drug is legal or illegal.
And then kwanza what's funny about like illegal and legal drugs, like ukiangalia ka vile alcohol is abused in Kenya. Yeah, like it's borderline insane.
True.
Yeah, like ukiangalia, and it's not illegal. It's not illegal for you to drink and get drunk, but it's illegal for you to drink and drive, kwa sababu unajua you're putting other people's lives in danger. But it's not illegal for you to drink and walk home.
Cool.
Sindio?
Yeah.
So in the same breath that it is not illegal for me to drink and walk home, it should also not be illegal for me to shoot up heroin and walk home. Like unaget like easy drugs, cause hawezi sema ati like now, cause zile drugs zile zimealawiwa ati sasa hizi zinasaidia society. Hata hizi hazisaidii society, ukiona vile alcohol imeangamiza wase.
There's a reason why alcohol is prescribed for people above the age of 18 years. It's not just legal. There are guidelines also, right?
Lakini unaona ukianza ku bring up age, mimi sijasema hizi drugs zitakuwa available to the children.
Oh, like, you also have a disclaimer.
We already like me from the point I'm arguing, tuna argue ni kama like an adult tunatumia. It's not ati these things are legal now, even children can go and shoot up heroin. Children do not know,
would you put any age cap in terms of drugs, and so in terms of tukisema kuna adults wenye wanaitumia, would it be, what would your base be? 18 plus?
Mimi ningesema 18 plus. ID kako na ID
you can do it. Unaweza ungeko pharmacy ununue needle ufanye stuff zako.
If you are expected to make decisions about the country
at 18,
why are you not expected to make decisions about your life?
Because inakumbusha tu question ya age legality, inakumbusha
like which age is the right
age, people mature age flani ya kudrive, upate license age flani. sex hiyo pia major conversation.
Yeah.
Hiyo ya age ya sex is 18 enough.
Yeah,
Other
like,
countries wamekuwa kienda to 16.
Yeah.
Wanasema hata 14, wanasema nafaa kuwa 21, wanasema 25 because of the more tuna grow tuna get kuona so even at 25 bado sijui chochote kuhusu sex.
Bas.
Kumbe at 30 sijui anything kuhusu life na existence na adulting na hizi vitu zote. Hiyo story ya age pena kwanga interesting if you think about story ya the legality and illegality of things.
Yeah, maze.
But please note that legality and illegality, well, it's just legality of something does not prevent you from using it. However,
I'm not saying it prevents, like mi naisema, unajua nikisema ikwe decriminalized, like unajua, like namaanisha as in si makosa kuifanya. Unaget? Like mtu akiingia kwa nyumba yako, tuseme kama tuseme for example, you happen to have like a relative who is in like the police, yeah? Akuja kuvisit bila wewe kujua na kama. And then kama apate paraphernalia za hard drugs. Like haifai kwa ile ya oh my goodness sasa lazima nikufunge. Unaget? Ni ile ya yani umeamua kujaribu hivi. Like ni ile ya the best they can do ni wakachini wakwambie usifanye hivi, no maisha yako inaenda baya ni nini, lakini so ati sasa tuanze kukufunga na the only thing you're doing is trying to escape reality. As in
tabaki pia ni imekuwa made legal.
Nini?
Suicide.
Yes, that was my next point.
I'm curious. Some states, maybe in US, may have legalized that stuff. But suicide. I read something about it, but I'm not sure.
Kama sama si Australia ni maybe a Nordic country where wakona assisted suicide.
Yeah,
assisted,
euthanasia.
Yeah.
But you sign some
Euthanasia, like
forms,
Zabataya unajua hiyo si umedecide.
Oh yeah.
Euthanasia ni your family decides.
Wamechoka na.
Assisted suicide ni wewe una decide nataka ni.
But we are forgetting.
Nataka nishie so pia
The society owns
ita
you.
bring
The state
conversation as well. And that's why kuna some countries that give you that option. And I'm sure as the years progress, more countries will pick that up. Ni kama tu as you've said that kuna things back then kwa African societies hazikuwa zina happen, and we talked about this as well tukiongelea marriage and how things ina develop. Itakuwa pia one of those things that will change and people watakuwa wanaongelea autonomy more na kumake your decision. If I want to live, I can live. If I don't want to live, which I am a proponent of, that if I don't want to do this, sitaki kuifanya. If I want to do this, I can do this. It go back to your conversation as well.
I'm not a proponent of that, man. I care for all life. All life.
So nikwambie msena kwambia mimi nimechoka na maisha, like I am at my wits end. Nimefika point where I have no motivation to look for money to work. Sina motivation ya kukula. Ndio nasikia njaa. Sisema ati sisikii njaa, but like I have no motivation for it, and I just feel like mimi sitaki kuendelea kufanya hii this life thing. Like constantly waking up early in the morning, thinking saa leo tunafanya nini, mara kuna
or waking up in general,
or even waking up in general. Sasa akwambie like hapo ndio yuko na naona the only answer ni kujimada. Unamwambia asijimade, utamwambiaje? Like since you are a proponent for life, how will you propose for them to continue living a life they're not enjoying? They find torturous.
Interesting. I think we'll do that on another minisode.
Cliffhanger.
That's a really nice conversation.
And yeah, the thing with the drugs, going back to that, ni kuna governments involved, and hii point tumefika kuna so much money.
Yes.
that governments are earning, that mafias are earning, that people are earning, individuals who are very powerful in society, different parts of the world, when you want to earn from illegal drug trade and easy businesses. So the legality, of course, itakuwa ngumu sana kuna watu wanakulia from this sana. Similar to story ya ku legalize marijuana in this country or in most countries, kama gava haiwezi identify the chain of how ina move and hawezi kulia from it, haiwezi kuwa kitu legal. Then of course with the drugs, going back to our previous conversations in terms of impact na how it affects health, that is something else which ties to what umesema. Gava needs people to be productive for them and for the society. So that also ties to the conversation. And something that pia tumegusia with drug usage ni how the people wenye wako on drugs na wako dependent on these drugs na ni to the point ya addiction or just usage bila addiction, the way they interact with others around them is also part of how we view drug use. Unaget how are you on these substances, how does that interact with us katika hii community, katika hii society? So if in a way haisaidii what we view as progressive, or in a way to affect and people around you, then there's no way that tuanza kufikiria okay, we can make these things legal. If ingekuwa ni situation ya you are using your drugs and then still unafanya kile unafanya kama ni kwa space yako or even in our spaces, and there's no way that usage is affecting kile tunadu, people might start considering that. And if that was the case, then hata ingekuwa illegal. You're one of those things that it's
as long
part
as tumuone akishuta up situko sawa.
And kuna an article that pia tunaweza discuss ama nitashare, and it's a Guardian article, people asking why are drugs illegal. You asked Google and here's the answer. So it seems nimekuwa nikiscroll through as tulikuwa tunaongea, and iko na some insights to it as well. And tukimaliza kuna paragraph that says in the 19th century, extracts of these 3 now illegal drugs, so this is cannabis, cocaine and opium,
were in popular
were legal in the UK and were sold in pharmacies and even corner shops. Because before watu anze ku understand how they work and their impact before those changes, zilikuwa zinauzwa. Queen Victoria's physician was a great proponent of the value of tincture of cannabis, and the monarch is reputed to have used it to counteract the pain of menstrual periods and childbirth. Now it is denied to people with several enduring spasticity and pain from neurological disorders and cancer. Why? The truth is unpalatable and goes back to the period of alcohol prohibition in the US in the 1920s. This was introduced as a harm reduction measure because alcohol was seen correctly as a drug that seriously damaged families and children. But public demand for alcohol in the US did not abate, and this fueled a massive rise in bootleg alcohol and underground bars that encouraged the rise of the mafia and other crime syndicates. Paragraphs. And as you said, alcohol na impact alcohol. Even cigarettes is another one.
Maybe if we use the legalized drugs as to benchmark how far we can go with legalizing the rest. If we can look at the impact of alcohol and tobacco, and then we say the impact is quite positive, can we go ahead and legalize the rest of all this illegal?
That's interesting. What do you think about that?
Hii ni uoga man. Naangalia impact aje. What do you mean? That should not be the benchmark to legalize these other drugs. Because drugs are used to alter your state of mind and to alter your state of being. So unacheki, like unaona kama cigarettes, like mimi ngori yangu tu na cigarettes ni mtu tu asivute like cigarettes nini by me. juu hiyo ni kitu inani affect directly, lakini mtu akikaa hapo hivyo kando yangu na anakunywa pombe, mimi niko sawa na yeye, you know. Even cigarettes, like kuna kumka, there's a time in Nairobi, sijui kama it happened Kenya mzima, but in Nairobi ikafika point wakasema wana designate nini, juu kitambo ilikuwa unatembea tu hivi tao unapita tu na
pale
msetu ako hapo hivi kimoshi mimi nakwambia the number of times nilikula mamoshi tao
na bado hizo places ziko na moja BS I think Jivanji bado pia wako nayo.
Like mimi sina ngori na hizi drugs kama hazini affect directly mtu akizitumia, like unachiki kama ingekuwa mse akishuta akisnort cocaine, like akisnort hivi kiasi hata wewe unajipata umesnort kwa karibu na yeye, hiyo ni ngori, unajua, like maybe it transfers through the air somehow but like it's not that,
I think pia kuna question ya proximity ya other individuals in society to these drugs and them accessing these drugs. So if let's say they are legal and uko na people in certain communities and societies using certain drugs, and whatever the effect of these drugs are and whatever their impact is, ni hiyo proximity when it's legal and other people can access this, inaweza end up imekuwa na a spiral effect ya the number of people who will use them, whether wako willing or not kuzitumia, just based on the fact that okay, tuna exist kwa this group of people, this society, this is the enclave, and then now we are seeing the impact of that.
I also think the other thing we don't speak about in the whole drug story is a lot of people use drugs to cope with real life issues.
There is that,
they believe they're using it to cope, but the problem is you never really address the issue when you use the drugs. All you do is you numb either the pain, the trauma, and so it takes away the growth that you have to undergo, or the lesson that you have to learn by working out this situation soberly, so that you're able to emerge the other end. Hopefully, some people don't work out things, but I'm saying it also takes away something from you, and especially the people who use it to cope, because eventually that's how it becomes addiction, because maybe by you not addressing these issues, they pile up, and no, this will become your escape. Eventually it becomes dependence. So I also think it takes away from some of the situations where people are meant to learn, toughen up sometimes, or just reconnect with people, because most of our human issues have to do with people. So sometimes instead of withdrawing to the drugs and everything, you just need to allow yourself to reconnect with people, or connect to people who can give you certain assistance. So
I think umesema ina return to what tulikuwa tunaongelea earlier kwa political conversation, everything being connected, because with attempting to address particular issues that one is going through in a tie to larger societal issues that take people to hizo situations and to those points za kuifanya na kukopa.
Kabla umesema kuongea, by the way, kile umesema like a really good point, as in, and I totally agree. Lakini pia unafaa kuiangalia, like I'm not saying this for everyone ule ame go to drugs as an answer, but unaweza pata unachikizo jibu umepeana, hizo answers ni answers walijaribu kupata wakakosa. Unaget, like walishindwa kupata like someone to help them through the tough time, walishindwa kupata a solution through the tough time, unajua. Na nile wanaona and wakashindwa kujiua, so nile unaona siwezi jiua, you missed hii kudedi, lakini I'm feeling so bad, like it's tough.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah,
and I would say such people definitely wanafaa kuwa attended to with the least judgment or mistreatment, because I also understand those issues actually point back to the society, like they point to certain problems that exist around us. The moment we feel like there's there's rise in alcoholism in a certain area or drug use in a certain way, it should lead us to that point of thinking, wait, what is it we are not addressing? Why are we here? Why are we here? There's also the recreational drug use. But I've come to realize that apart from the recreational drug use, there's this one where people do it to cope with life, and it's quite widespread. So it points us back to what is the issue? What do we need to sort so that things improve?
Imenikumbusha pia time kulikuwa na, I think it's still there, menace ya betting na tukukuwa addicted to betting. Kuna larger societal concerns. Mimi nilimaliza kitambo, nilikuwa nangoja tumalize minisode on drugs. Kama unasikiza
na uko na LSD ama mushrooms nione kando
tuko kwa hii address. Hata imenikumbusha, I mentioned this recently nikifanya reaction video fulani ya ngoma ya Wangeshi na Brooklyn Boys inaitwa Mzigo. Kwa the video kuna point nilisema there's a tweet I had seen, I think a week or so before that moment. Kuna msali alikuwa anasema ati ukiwa clubs za West, tembea clubs za West, manze unaanza kushanga mbona kila msa kuna line ya chumvi kwa mapua.
And on that bombshell,
we out.
Massive out.
So, Sam, now you know where you should hang out.
Clearly.
The people you are listening to are not health professionals, not drug professionals, or I'm speaking for myself. I am neither of those.
Don't listen to these guys.
Two wise people are.
These guys look sober, by the way. Don't listen to them. They can mislead you, but they're sober.
Kama kuna misconceptions za kudemystify, kama kuna points za kuadisia kwa this one, kuna so much actually to touch. So kuna a lot to touch on, so much to touch on, hata from the legal perspective as well. But asante for listening. Tuachia a comment, subscribe if you haven't, depending on where you're listening to this. Finya your follow button, turn on your notifications, leave us a rating as well. Na asante sana for listening to this minisode of the Tunado podcast.
Asante.